At the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin on September 1, 2025, Chinese President Xi Jinping gathered leaders from more than 20 countries, including Russia's Vladimir Putin and India's Narendra Modi, in a show of solidarity aimed at presenting China as the nucleus of a new global order. The summit, held against the backdrop of rising tensions with the United States, tariffs, and global instability, was designed to highlight China's ambition to replace Western-led governance with a Sino-centric model that appeals to the global South. Images of Xi and Putin standing shoulder to shoulder, with Modi close by, symbolized this narrative of unity and defiance toward U.S. dominance. Xi's speeches emphasized opposition to hegemonism, Cold War mentality, and bullying practices, terms that clearly targeted Washington's policies. He argued for what he called true multilateralism, contrasting it with Western-dominated frameworks. To make his case tangible, Xi pledged significant resources: the creation of an SCO development bank, an international energy cooperation platform, 2 billion yen, approximately 280 million United States dollars, in aid, 10 billion yen in concessional loans to member states, and access to China's BeiDou satellite navigation system. He also announced plans for an artificial intelligence cooperation center, aiming to tie the SCO to China's technological rise. These steps were framed not only as alternatives but as superior and fairer mechanisms compared with the International Monetary Fund or World Bank, both widely criticized in the developing world for imposing conditions on loans. Putin strongly endorsed Xi's approach, declaring that the time had come to replace Euro-Atlantic security models with a broader Eurasian framework. He defended Russia's actions in Ukraine as defensive, blaming NATO expansion and Western interference for destabilizing Europe. He applauded the SCO's moves toward using national currencies in mutual settlements, seeing de-dollarization as crucial to resisting Western sanctions. For Putin, the SCO is both a diplomatic shield and an economic lifeline, reinforcing Moscow's dependence on Beijing while granting Russia a platform to argue its case to sympathetic states. Modi's presence was especially notable, as it marked his first visit to China in 7 years. He described India and China as the elephant and dragon, calling for development partnership rather than rivalry. Modi echoed criticisms of double standards in counter-terrorism and appeared to support the broader push for multipolarity, though analysts noted his stance was pragmatic rather than ideological. India continues to balance its participation in US-aligned forums such as the Quad with active engagement in multilateral platforms like the SCO and BRICS, seeking to maximize autonomy in a shifting world order. The SCO summit also signaled an expansion of its scope beyond security cooperation. With Xi's push for financial and technological institutions, the SCO is being reshaped as a comprehensive governance platform. However, the organization's cohesion remains uncertain. It includes countries with divergent interests, from nuclear rivals India and Pakistan to economically weaker Central Asian republics, each pursuing distinct agendas. Skeptics argue that the SCO, despite ambitious rhetoric, may struggle to rival entrenched Western institutions in credibility, effectiveness, and trust. The timing of the summit is significant. It comes just days before China's Victory Day military parade in Beijing, marking the 80th anniversary of Japan's World War II surrender. Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong-un are expected to attend, turning the parade into a stage for anti-Western unity and military power projection. Displaying advanced Chinese weaponry, the event will reinforce the summit's political messaging with hard power symbolism, underlining the military dimension of China's claim to global leadership. For the broader global order, the Tianjin summit represents a turning point. The SCO's evolution into a development and governance body, backed by China's financial muscle and Russia's geopolitical defiance, challenges the primacy of Western-led structures. It accelerates the shift toward multipolarity, where multiple centers of power compete to shape international rules. At the same time, internal contradictions within the SCO, national rivalries, authoritarian tendencies, and competing economic models, raise doubts about its ability to function as a coherent alternative. The symbolism of Xi and Putin together, however, is undeniable. It signals to the world that China and Russia, both facing Western pressure, are committed to promoting parallel institutions and narratives. By aligning themselves so visibly, they invite other states disillusioned with the US or European leadership to consider alternatives. This appeal resonates especially in Africa, Latin America, and parts of Asia, where frustrations with Western-dominated financial systems and military alliances are long-standing. The US and its allies are unlikely to ignore these moves. Washington's tariffs and restrictive technology policies have already fueled China's search for new markets and alliances. Europe remains divided between economic engagement with China and security dependence on the US, while developing nations increasingly find Beijing's offers of loans, infrastructure, and technology attractive. The SCO's expansion could, therefore, entrench blocks of influence, raising the risk of deeper global polarization. In conclusion, the Tianjin summit of September 2025 showcased Xi Jinping's determination to portray China as the champion of a fairer, multipolar order and Vladimir Putin's eagerness to bind Russia's future to that vision. With Modi cautiously aligning India with the push for multipolarity, the image of Xi and Putin standing shoulder to shoulder crystallized the summit's message: the world no longer revolves around the West alone. Whether the SCO can deliver practical alternatives or remains largely symbolic will determine how far this new axis can reshape the 21st century global order.